I think I was poised to love men named Steven, first of all. Steven Spielberg and you both set me up for the life I have. It was mine to screw up. I think I've come full circle. Everything seems okay, relatively speaking. But you were such an important person to me when I was a kid because we did Firestarter together.
This little picture says, "To Steven, I love you dearly, Drew Barrymore." And it's hung on my office wall for well over 40 years.
Yeah. It was 1982 that we did Firestarter.
We actually made 2 movies.
That's right. We made...
It was Firestarter and...
Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye, that's right.
Those years with you and meeting Tabitha and your whole family and being in your family home and in your world was very important to me. And it made important lifelong impressions that I hold so dearly in my heart.
That's good. And not only were you a great actress, very, very young, you were a good person, and you're still a good person. And having written a book, Wildflowers, you should go get it now.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. The fact that you've heard of my book, the one and only, the greatest, most important writer. I'm just now thinking of Jane Fonda's speech at the Golden Globes, and I thought not only was she the most eloquent human to ever speak, but she talked about the importance of storytelling and how it isn't fantasy, it's a way to bring in our human connectivity.
Stories are great, and I love them, and I love to tell them, and I love when people say, you know, your story meant something to me. My favorite story of all time was I was in a Publix market down in Florida, and I came around the corner, and there was a lady in one of those little scooter carts that they have, and she said, "I know who you are. You're Stephen King. You write those horror stories." Well, I don't like horror stories very much, but I respect your right to tell them. And I said, well, I also wrote she said, I like stories like The Shawshank Redemption. That are,
You're like, I wrote that.
I said, I wrote that. And she said, no, you didn't.
I've been thinking a lot about, in The Stand, you predicted a pandemic. And we're a year into this one. And I am wondering what your opinion is on the fact that we have called it social distancing. Was that a mistake? Should we have called it physical distancing? Have we created a monster of fear amongst us humans?
Well, you know, that's a really good question. And there are things about, I understand social distancing in the sense that, you know, if you're with a bunch of people, try to stay as far away so that the germs don't spread and all that. But boy, I miss being able to shake somebody's hands. I mean, there's something cool about giving them an elbow and all that. But, you know, we could do this in person if it wasn't for this thing. And Drew, I could give you a hug. We can't do that anymore. You know, that's not something that's happening. Hopefully it will again. I'm interested to see how books, novels, and movies will handle the pandemic. It's very tough to tell, for instance, a love story. Like, what are these guys going to do? The boy and the girl, when they finally get together, do they sort of rip off their masks and kiss, or do they kiss through the masks, or exactly what do they do? It's going to be tough, and there are going to have to be some changes. The anxiety is everywhere.
I think we're going to need to find, through storytellers like you, guides of how we will refine romance, how we will refine connectivity, how we will be able to overcome the fears and anxieties. And we're going to need smart, brilliant minds like yours to guide us out of this.
Well, you don't want to stay inside too long. Think about Jack Nicholson in The Shining. You know, people get a little bit freaky when they spend too much time by themselves.